That was absolutely insane. That was an absolute choke job. As much as the Knicks choked in game one, as much as the Pacers have made it a known thing that they're going to rebound and find a way to chip away from 20-point lead to double-digit leads, no matter how much time was on the clock, that was a old school choke job. It wasn't like all of a sudden, like the Knicks tried to play like the Pacers and just got swept in the emotion of trying to play up-tempo. It wasn't any of that. It was strictly a thing where OKC could not make shots down the stretch. That's all it was. Hard stop. It's about shot making. The game it seemed to be out of control about the midway point of the second quarter. Midway point of the second quarter, no matter what OKC did, the Pacers just kept hanging around. You get it to 10, they go on a quick little 4 run, or they just found a way to keep chipping away, to keep the game within measure, within reach. Third quarter, it looked like the doors were about to be blown off the Indiana Pacers. SGA started to cook up after having a strong first half, but he took a lot of shots. He was able to get his shots better and more efficient in that third quarter, and things just seemed to be rolling in the right direction for the Thunder. But again, the Pacers just stayed within striking distance. They couldn't fully put them away. Now, does this stealing of game one make you feel any different about the overall outcome of this NBA Finals? We'll discuss that in a bit. But right now, we're talking about game one. What the hell did we just watch? Chat is open. Feel free. Anyone, whoever in this chat, want to try to explain to me what the hell they just saw. I would love for someone to attempt it. So, I got the screens loaded up. That's why I had to wait a little bit to try to get this stream going, because I had to make sure I pull out all the stats, all the little deep dive type of information to make sure that the information I'm providing is not just regurgitating whatever you're going to hear on the big networks, okay? So let's go ahead and tap right into the screen. 96.4 win probability, okay? The Thunder were up 108-99. 108-99. They had a 96.4 win probability. I remember when it was game one, Knicks Pacers. The Knicks were up, I believe, 9, similar margin to tonight. And it was 99.7 win probability, and the 0.3 happened. Now we have 96.4 win probability, and the 3.6 happened. The Indiana Pacers, yet again, do it again. You see it here trending on the Elon app. He did it again, and that he is Tyrese Haliburton. That he is Tyrese Haliburton. And in the words of Shane Young, Tyrese freaking Haliburton. Now, we know how copyright goes, but we will try to break down that shot brick by brick, or bit by bit. So SGA gets to his shot. Okay, so let's go ahead and, let's roll the dice, okay? OKC is up 110-109, under 13 seconds to go. You see it here. We're going to try to break it down frame by frame. SGA gets to his spot, okay? You see it here. He gets to his spot. He does his patented turnaround. Nembhard played good defense. This was a Aaron Nembhard game. As much as Tyrese Haliburton is going to get the credit, and he deserves it. He earned it. He made the shots. He took the big shot, and he made the shot, and he's the guy, okay? But Aaron Nembhard, just like you had Nesmith in game one against the Knicks, as much as it was about Haliburton making the big shots, taking the step back three, that bounced up and then went through the net and then doing things in overtime. Haliburton gets the headlines, but to get to that point, you needed Nesmith to go 8 of 9 from 3. Tonight, same deal. Haliburton takes the shot and makes the shot, but to put that team in position, you needed Nembhard's not only offense, but defense to get them there. So SGA does his patented turnaround, and it looked good, and that would have been a dagger. It still only would have put them up 3, but still would have put you in a way better spot than being up 1 with under 10 seconds to go. So he bricks that. Lou Dort, who was a beast on the glass in the first half and had everybody and their mama questioning what the hell is up with Obi Toppin, okay? But they make it happen. They grab the board. Nesmith grabs the board, gives it over to Siakam. Siakam gets it over to Toppin. Toppin immediately gets it over to Tyrese Haliburton. He wants no piece of it. It's not his rock to have, right? It is Tyrese Haliburton's rock. Now, Keyshawn Wallace has been playing very good defense. He's kind of been a hooper's hooper in terms of only real hoopers are mentioning Keyshawn Wallace. Keyshawn Wallace gets the assignment. Haliburton looking for his shot. Look at the airspace. Not a lot of airspace here between Wallace and Haliburton. So now let's take it here. He's getting the drive. Now it's already, you're under 3 seconds. Okay, you're under 3 seconds. Haliburton just gets enough. This wasn't a spectacular move. This wasn't it wasn't a crossover. It wasn't any of that. Just a little jab. And the momentum. He gets Wallace going, thinking he's going to drive. Now, Caruso's here for the trap. I'm not going to place fault on Keyshawn Wallace here, but Caruso was there to trap, potentially trap, and then he was going to fall off. But then you got Siakam here. Siakam's cutting. So, again, even the most minute thing can create the opening. Caruso could have went all the way and did a hard trap on Haliburton. But because out of the corner of his eye, he sees Siakam trying to do something, he now has to fall back. And that allows Keyshawn, who's still trying to trail the play. He's not, as you see, he's not parallel. He's not square. He's off his edge. And that little bit of room is all someone like Tyrese Haliburton needs to get the shot off. That's literally all the space he needs to be able to stop. Once he stops, that is enough space. As crazy as that sounds, as crazy as that looks, that is enough space in the NBA. And that is damn sure enough space for a player the caliber of Tyrese Haliburton. And look, there's not a hand in his face. He's able to get off a damn near textbook jump shot with 2.2 left on the clock in Game 1 of the NBA Finals on the road. The bag is deep. The bag is deep. Absolutely clutch gene on a trillion. Clutch gene on a trillion for Tyrese Haliburton. Amazing stuff. Amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. As you see here, 9.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Pacers were down 15. Now, again, this isn't the historic type of collapse like it was with Knicks tape. However, OKC seemed to be comfortably in control, especially once we got out of halftime, and whatever adjustments that were made didn't really seem to hit at first. Then you talk about just, again, hanging around, chipping away. A lot of things had to happen, and all of it happened when it come for the comeback of the Pacers over the Thunder. And here's why you can't always listen to everyone who talks about ball. You gotta switch up the angle here for you. Now, this was when? This was 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. OKC is up 12, and the man that y'all have hyped up, your man's No Chill Gill, quote, I think Indiana being here is bad because now the fan base thinks they're a legitimate championship team. This man was saying this as they were down 12 with 9 minutes to go, and then the Pacers go on to win that game. Everyone doesn't know ball. Just because you used to be a hooper, just because you used to ball in the league, that doesn't mean you automatically know ball. No Chill Gill with one of those amazing in real time freezing cold takes, okay? A freezing cold take from y'all mans. Y'all hyped this man up. Y'all made this man think he actually knows ball to a deeper level than you and I. This man was out here putting the dirt on the Pacers' grave with 9 minutes to go, and then the Pacers go on and steal the goddamn game. Enough with this new media. If we want to really get into the brick by brick of how we got here, Indiana had 17 more turnovers than OKC and 16 fewer field goal attempts, and they won the game. That, to me, says a lot, clearly about the Pacers, but a lot about the Oklahoma City lack of closeout. And they've had a relatively easy run through this playoffs. Meanwhile, you look at what the Pacers have done in terms of who they have had to walk through. There were people online that were questioning the caliber of opponents that the Pacers had played. Who was it? Was it Paul Pierce? Who was it that was talking trash about the Pacers and their current playoff resume? Said it was the easiest path to the finals out of anybody. Meanwhile, who exactly did OKC beat to get here? But yet and still, we're talking about the Pacers having a weak walk to the NBA Finals. Yet they walked into OKC and get game one. The team that was, an overwhelming favorite by Vegas metrics. Overwhelming favorite by Vegas metrics. Yet the Pacers, who were getting called out for their path to the finals, walk into OKC and get a dub in game one. I see the homie Steph in the chat. Steph, is this a sign of things to come, or was it a fluke by OKC? Here's where it's tough to navigate that, right, Steph? Like, it's tough to navigate it because I had the box score. You know what? Let's go to the box score real quick. Yeah, I know how I do. We break down these numbers and try to figure out what these numbers actually mean. So, if you told me in game one at the crib, Lou Dort was going to make 5 threes, SGA was going to put up damn near a 40-piece, J-Dub, Jalen Williams was going to give you his normal numbers, maybe not as many points. 17 is not really what he does. He's normally in that 20 to 24 range, but still he's giving you 6 dimes and 4 boards. That's about what he does. But if you're telling me SGA is going to go for a 40-piece, Lou Dort is going to hit 5 threes, and J-Dub is going to give you relatively close to average production, I would say Oklahoma City is going to be in right position to win that game. What more was SGA supposed to do tonight? Now, again, he took a lot of shots, right? 30 shots. But this man's not a real point guard. He just plays that position, right? This is who he is. 14 of 30. 3 of 6 from 3, 5 boards, 3 assists. This is who he is. That's an SGA game. Oklahoma City will sleep really good. Sam Presti will sleep really good at night if that's what he's going to get in terms of an average from SGA. And he would be ecstatic if he's going to get Lou Dort hitting 5 threes in the game. What he probably didn't like is the fact that Chet Holmgren didn't look like he knew where his place was on the floor tonight. And to compound that, Hartenstein wasn't that much better. He had a good little run in the first half, but that second half, non-existent. Alex Caruso, again, first half impactful, second half less so. A lot of guys were getting shit off in the first half, less so in the second half for OKC. The game slowed down. Possessions began to matter. And for those that have been tapping in on this stream and on the podcast, it's starting to beat a dead horse. But this is where point guards matter. Your point guards dictate the tempo. And while the Pacers, who were top 10 in pace, they're facing a team that was top 6 in pace. So the Pacers were not going to be able to outpace the Thunder. However, when the game slowed down, when the possessions become that much more vital, that's when having a point guard with the rock in his hands, controlling the flow, that's when that matters. When SGA slows it down, it's for him to get his own shot. When Tyrese Haliburton slows it down, anyone can get a shot, including himself. Therein lies the difference. Steph, Pacers were 20-9 after the All-Star break. Should we have been expecting this, especially seeing how they performed through the playoffs? Here's the thing, like the Pacers aren't a team, they're not a sexy team, they're not a flashy team. And especially when you look at the East, when you're looking at teams like Cleveland that had the number 1 seed overall in the East, when you're looking at Boston, who were the reigning defending champs, and even teams like the Knicks that had the big star power with Karl Anthony Towns and Bridges and Brunson and, you know, OG and all of that. The Pacers just kept steadying, flying under the radar. They just kept flying under the radar. And the style of ball they play, again, unless you really are into watching basketball, nothing has exposed who the casuals are to me than analysis on the Indiana Pacers. That's been the funniest thing for me. When Knicks fans all of a sudden realized, oh shit, Aaron Nesmith is good. Oh shit, Aaron Nembhard could play defense. Well, again, if you watch more basketball outside of your team, you would know, oh yeah, these other teams have good players too. And not only do they have good players too, they might have players that are actually better than your big name players, and the Knicks and their fan base found that out the hard way. But in regards to the Pacers, they have a really good coach. They have a really good roster construction, more importantly, and that to me is the difference. You can have all the names you want, but when it comes to roster construction and the cohesiveness of that roster, that to me is the difference. All right, so we got a shot chart here. Let's see if we can navigate the shot chart. This is where Basketball Reference needs to kind of step their game up because it takes them so long to get their data up. I would much rather prefer the Basketball Reference shot chart, but here we are. We'll make it work with this. So, because I can't do this can I do it by quarter? I can't do it by quarter. Okay, so fourth quarter. Let's take a look. Let's go SGA fourth quarter. Okay, SGA, take those off. SGA fourth quarter. He took 4 shots. Your MVP, fourth quarter, game 1 at the crib, when the opposition is making a huge comeback, your MVP took 4 shots. Okay. Let's go to Lou Dort, who had that big first half. Lou Dort in that fourth quarter, 2 threes, bricked them. What about J-Dub? What J-Dub do in that fourth quarter? J-Dub took a lot of shots, but the only ones he made were in the paint. Anything outside the restricted area, Brick City. Kason Wallace, he made his 1 shot in the paint, But then perimeter, brick city. So again, when the possessions became more prized, more precious, more vital, when the tempo slowed down, when the pace slowed down, the Oklahoma City Thunder could not execute. Chet Holmgren had one shot, bricked it. Hartenstein, one shot, bricked it. Caruso, one shot, made it. So again, who was the person in the fourth quarter that's supposed to be the closer? It's supposed to be SGA, but he only took 4 shots. This is where, in the fourth quarter, this is where point guards matter, right? Point guards matter like this. I have SGA, who's a walking 40 piece. He could walk on any NBA court at any moment and get a 40 pack. However, you want to make his life easier. You know how you can make his life easier? Having someone who can take the ball, create, dish, drive and kick, orchestrate, whatever, and put him in better positions to where he can get to whatever spot he wants to without always having to get 3 or 4 screens just to get there. That's where point guards matter. That's where facilitating matters. Now again, all this can mean nothing. OKC could go out here and run off 4 straight and gentlemen sweep the Pacers. But because of the way that it happened tonight, if the Pacers would have blown the doors off of OKC, I would have thrown it out as an admiration, as an anomaly. But the fact that OKC was able to do what we know them to be able to do, control the rock defensively, suffocating in that first half, creating all those turnovers, creating all those forced errors and unforced errors by the hands of the Pacers. The fact that SGA was able to get to his spots. The fact that Lou Dort was able to just hit 3 after 3 after 3. And then you have guys like Kason Wallace chipping in. You have guys, J-Dub getting his numbers. It looked like, okay, this is a stereotypical OKC performance. And then the Pacers went and walked them down. That matters. More so than the Pacers blowing the doors off of OKC coming off of a long layoff. That matters. OKC was still trying to do what they do, and it didn't work, and the Pacers walked them down. That's important. Steph in the chat. Is it a hot take to say Hallie has, quote, more big playoff moments in this playoffs alone than all the other, quote, new stars Tatum, Brunson, Ant have combined? Well, he's got what? This is now for sure moment number 2. Tatum's big playoff moment was what? Game 7 against the Sixers last year. What, he had that 40 ball? Wasn't that like a triple-double or some shit? But he at least had like a 40 ball. Brunson's big playoff moment, I'm still waiting for it. So, yes, there. And Ant hasn't had he hasn't had that signature moment yet. Yes, I think to your point, I mean, just off the last 2 rounds, he's had more moments, more signature moments. And that's kind of what it is to become a superstar. That's what it is to become a face. Because now the casuals start to recognize you because you're the guy that keeps hitting big shots. Tyrese Haliburton, no matter how many 3 pieces he's taken down off the court, he's now going to be recognized by that many more people. As much as he loves wrestling and plays into the villain role, much like Trae Young tried to do when he was taking down the Knicks, Tyrese Haliburton is not only a villain to one fan base, he is a villain to any and all in the league. And therein lies the difference of being a superstar. Trae Young is only a villain to Knicks tape. Trae Young could walk into any other arena in the NBA and no team is scared of that man. Only when he walks into the Mecca, does he put the black hat on. Tyrese Haliburton is showing you that he walks into every NBA arena with that black hat on. Steph, Hallie has had multiple buzzer beaters to keep his team in the game. Yeah, I mean, look, that shot, and when you get to know a player for his playoff acumen, it's just for hitting big shots. Like, Robert Horry is known just for hitting big shots. No one can really, or no casual can break down Houston Rocket Robert Horry. But they know Laker Robert Horry, and they know San Antonio Spur Robert Horry, because he hit big shots for those teams. Even though Robert Horry was a very big part of getting Hakeem Olajuwon a ring. Doesn't matter. So I think, to your point, Steph, you have to do it, and you have to do it in big moments. And I think, personally, you have to do it against multiple teams. You can't just have one good series against one good team, and now you're out of here. Because to me, that's the Trae Young effect. But Haliburton walked into the Mecca and put the choke sign on the Knicks. Now he walked into OKC. And even if this is the only game they get, he did it on the biggest stage imaginable in the NBA Finals. That's going to mean something. But let's get to why did the Pacers lose this game? Why did the Pacers, or how did the Pacers lose this game? Yeah, I know I love a box score. Let's take a quick look. Is there any trends we see here on this box score? You're talking about Aaron Nesmith, 3 of 9, 3 of 7 from 3. 12 boards. 12 boards for your starting 3. Pascal Siakam, 7 of 15. 10 boards. So Siakam gave you 19 and 10. Aaron Nesmith gave you 10 and 12. Miles Turner gave you 15 and 9. And I will tell you this, I don't know how he got that 9. Because it was times out there where I felt Miles Turner didn't know where the hell he was. Between him and Obi Toppin, there were times in that first half where I was really questioning, are they okay? Are they aware they're in game 1 of the NBA goddamn finals right now with the way that they seem to be lost on the court? Andrew Nembhard. Let me go to this shot chart and look at Nembhard in this second half. Nembhard in this second half. We're just going right to Nembhard. Where is he? Nembhard. In the fourth quarter alone, he took more shots than SGA. This step back 3, well, under 2 to go on SGA, huge. Okay. Aaron Nembhard was able to make things happen. And again, it's not sexy. It's not flashy. It's not going to be something where you can consider it an Aaron Nembhard game. He's looking at someone who only had 14 points. But if you remember what he looked like in that Knicks series, 14 and 6 with a couple of boards and a couple of threes, you weren't getting that in the Knicks series from Andrew Nembhard. But he's able to walk into OKC and be impactful. The fact that he had as many dimes as Tyrese Haliburton kind of tells you how impactful he was tonight. Tyrese Haliburton, 14, 10, and 6. Normally that 10 is assists and that 6 is rebounds, but that got flipped tonight. 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. Again, he didn't take that many shots. 13 shots compared to 30 from SGA. Pascal Siakam took 15 shots, half the shots of SGA's 30. Obi Toppin, oh boy. A tale of two halves is probably a cliche thing. But in that first half, let's go first half first. First half, first quarter makes one bucket. Second quarter, bricks two threes, makes the third three. But it was his defense and his lack of boxing out. Richard Jefferson had to call it out on the broadcast that Lou Dort was able to outboard Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin's got the size advantage, at least the height advantage. Maybe not the strength advantage, but certainly the height advantage over Lou Dort. And he could not get that man out the paint for anything. I don't know what the speech was at halftime, but halftime, Obi Toppin decided to come out and hoop. Obi Toppin with the three ball, decided to come out and hoop. And you see it here. Took four threes. 1, 2, 1, 2. That foot's on the line. They didn't count that. Yeah. So took 3 threes. He made two out of his 3 threes in the second half. Got to the rack. Hit a couple of long J's. Like, Obi Toppin actually looked like a player that was quasi-worthy of being drafted in the top 10 in 2020. Now, he still didn't play like someone that should be drafted over Tyrese Haliburton. Thank you, Knicks. But whatever, be that as it may, Obi Toppin looked like someone who belonged on the floor in the NBA Finals in that second half. The first half, he looked lost. He looked like he didn't know where the hell he was supposed to be. Steph in the chat. Way too early for this, but I think Hallie should be the person we look at to lead USA in 2028 Olympics. The true PG we haven't had in a while. And I'm telling you, man, it really matters. I love the best thing about Haliburton is that he's not afraid to admit that he's a point guard. And as much as we've been combo guarded to death, hybrid guarded to death, short shooting guarded to death at that position, it is refreshing for someone like myself to see a actual true facilitating pass first point guard actually look the part on a big stage. Steph Pascal won't shoot 46% again. I expect a efficient game from him in game 2. I mean, look, this was not a really good effort. As a team, they shot 48% and they shot 46% from 3. And those numbers sound good until you tell me you didn't watch the game. If you watched the game, those threes didn't look good. They didn't look in rhythm. They didn't look to be efficient shots. But for whatever reason, it was enough. And when you're trying to steal a game, it doesn't matter how pretty it looked like. Look, Tyrese Haliburton, even Doris Burke mentioned it during the broadcast, like, the shot looks ugly as hell, much like Reggie Miller's shot looks ugly as hell, but leave that shit alone because the ball keep touching that nylon. OKC, though, you get your Lou Dort game. I don't see another game where Lou Dort is knocking down 5 threes. Now, the Pacers are going to keep leaving him open. This might be a thing of, hey, bruh, you'll get those all series. If we lose a Larry O.B. because Lou Dort becomes, Bruce Bowen, then so be it. But the problem is you can't have Lou Dort knocking down 5 threes and SGA is still getting a 40-piece. It has to be one or the other. But if you're not going to get nothing from Chet, and I don't know what's going on with Chet, I'm Chet Hive all day, but I have not been impressed with Chet this whole playoff run, if I'm really going to be honest, and the numbers won't bear that out. But again, that's why you have to watch basketball instead of just reading stuff like this in terms of the box score, to actually watch the game. But I have not been impressed with Chet in this whole playoff run. He's a name. He's one of the faces of this team. He's not the face. That's clearly SGA, of course, but he's one of the more notable players on this team, and he's known in this league. I just haven't seen it enough from Chet. And Chet's supposed to have that anger streak in him. Like, he's supposed to be one of those. Even though he looks slim, and he is slim, and he's super skinny, and I keep saying that boy needs some mass gainer. He needs to go old school and go to GNC and go get that mass gainer, that big old tub that's got like 800 calories in one scoop with 45 grams of protein. He just needs to go ahead and do like 2 or 3 of those a day. Because he gets muscled around way too much. Miles Turner looked like a bully at times in the first half because he's just so much bigger weight-wise, strength-wise than Chet Holmgren. And that's why they had to go out there and go sign Isaiah Hartenstein. Because Chet can be bullied. Because physically, his frame is just too frail. SGA takes 30 shots and makes 47% of them. Hits 50% from 3. He gets to the line, but not his normal clip. He gets to the line about 10 to 11 times a game. He only got there 8 tonight. 24 free throws compared to 21 for the Pacers. So you would think the foul merchant that is SGA, that could have turned the tide. It did not. The refs had a good whistle tonight. I mean, there's always missed calls in every game, but I didn't feel there was anything egregious going on with the refs tonight. And they, again, really good job at the broadcast. They made light of it, of showing how Nembhard, Canadian, just like SGA, he knows some of SGA's tricks. So he knows when to get his hands away because he knows that Shea is trying to go up to draw that contact, even if it's like a rip through or something to that effect. He knows what SGA is trying to do to get those fouls. Good job by the Pacers tonight. Excellent job closing out this game. Again, 96.4 win probability. 108-99. 96.4 win probability. And then they found a way to lose. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hit that chat if you want. We here. Steph, keep in mind, Rick Carlisle has done this before. He's overcome these types of odds before, so expect the series to go along. I would love that. I still have a penchant to believe that the talent of OKC is going to win out. So this tonight does not make me move off of my position that OKC is going to win this series. What it does make me think is that, hey, I didn't think sweep, but I certainly thought 5 games. And that could still happen. This could still be OKC in 5. But again, it's the way that the Pacers won tonight. They didn't just go out there and blow the doors off of a team coming off of a low layoff. They went out there, they took the OKC's biggest punch, and they took multiple punches, and they walked right through them. That, to me, is more telling than going out here and blowing their doors off just because they've been rusty. And then OKC finds their rhythm in games 2 through 5 and takes care of business. No, this was OKC was in rhythm. OKC was playing their game, and the Pacers did not give a fuck and got it done. All right, let's see if we can find some post-game stuff, because I know there's got to be some stuff going on. Let's see what we can find here on the timeline. Oh, yeah, here's that shot I was talking about, that step-back 3 on SGA. Nembhard went right at SGA. Let's see if we can break this down. So, again, see it here. Pacers are down 6, a little bit over 2 minutes, coming up on 2 minutes. And this is a switch. You get a Neesmith and Aaron Nembhard screen switch off. You see Haliburton being guarded by J-Dub up top. Lou Dort is covering Obi and Siakam. So, again, you take the bigs off the floor. That was part of the adjustment. Miles Turner was not on that floor. Thomas Bryant got some courtesy minutes. But they went small. Obi Toppin and Siakam was your front court. They basically went with 2 point guards and 3 small forwards. And I guess you could call Obi a 4, but he's more of a 3 to me. So you went with 2 point guards and 3 small forwards, and you were able to outwork, outplay, out-hustle the Oklahoma City Thunder in their gym. So Nembhard takes the rock here. You get the switch. So now it's Nembhard being guarded by SGA. Simple basketball, nothing too crazy. Now he's in his bag. He's in his bag. He's walking SGA down. Now again, SGA is not the greatest defender. Certainly not someone you would consider a lockdown defender. But he ain't chump. He ain't chump. But Nembhard has a lot of confidence, a lot of comfort going right at SGA. MVP be damned. I'm cooking. I'm going to get into my bag. And for whatever reason, SGA is reacting to everything. Look at the feet. Now, those kicks is tight. Those kicks is tight. I'm waiting for Nike to drop those. But either way, Nembhard starts to cook up, gives him that step, right? Gives him that step. SGA bites. He's stepping up to commit. What happens when you step up to commit? Nembhard doesn't take it. He could have had that lane, and he could have drove, didn't take it. Wants to get deeper in the bag. See, sometimes it's not the first move, it's not the second move. This is why you have to have that package. This is why you have to have that dribble package. Let me see. Let me come over here because I see I am blocking. I'll move myself over here. Nope, didn't want to do that. Okay. All right. Let me move here. Okay. And now come out of that so y'all can see that. And let me blow that up. We're trying here. Give me a second. Okay, let's go there with it. All right. So you see the dribble bag. That's the second move. He sees he could have had him on that second move, but now I'm going to go to the third move, and that's the one where he's able to create the space. That's the one, the quick little cross, nothing crazy, not Tim Hardaway, not AI, just enough of a cross just to get to the spot. And you make him think you're going to drive. You make him think you're going to drive, but nope, I got to step back. And SGA is there, but the problem is that this is the NBA. These dudes don't need a lot of room. They don't need a lot of room to get the shot off. Nembhard gets the shot off, and he stares that thing down. He knew it was good. Look at how he's bouncing. He knows that was good. Cooking them in his bag. So again, it wasn't the first move. But see, the main first thing is, I'm not afraid. Because that's not just the MVP. That's my man's. That's my countryman. We hooped in the Olympics together. I'm not afraid of that man. I've been going at him like this for years. One bag. Okay, I see that. Now, again, if this ever comes up again, that first move, Nembhard's going to go next time. Because he had it there. He had that move. He had the lane if he wanted it. Second bag, okay. Second bag didn't really go. First bag, though, he could have had that lane. Right there, he could have stepped back and hit that three. He could have shot the three right here. That first move worked. But he decides to wait. Let me size him up again. That second one, nah, that didn't work. But that third move, that's the one ultimately that creates the space and knocks down the three. In the box score, it only just looks like a made three-pointer. But when you're talking about possession by possession by possession, it's that type of stuff that gets you in a position to steal game one on the road. It's stuff just like that. Great play. Absolutely great play. What else we got? Yeah, Chet Holmgren. It's a lot going on there. It's a lot going on there. Something's got to give. And look at the picks are coming out so cold. This will definitely probably be the podcast episode cover right here. It's a lot going on. Your man's SGA right there. That face is the face of a man that knew he was up 11 with a little bit over a quarter. About, 15 minutes left to go in the game? He thought it was a wrap. Steph in the chat. That Nembhard counter was the same thing you saw Jordan Poole do the last. You know what? I see the vision. I see the vision. It's a funny thing again when you are dealing with people who know ball and you can pick out stuff like that. Therein lies the difference between casuals who only know what Stephen A tells them or Kendrick Perkins tells them or No Chill Gill or Jeff Teague or the habitual nut hitter. There's a difference between knowing ball and just being told what ball is. There is a difference. Andrew, I keep messing up Neesmith and Nembhard. Andrew Nembhard being able to size up the reigning MVP and knock down a 3 in his grill with no hesitation, that tells you all you need to know about this Indiana Pacers team. Scared money don't make no money. All right, let's see what else we got. Just to put things in perspective, the Pacers now have a win in every round with this probability. 0.3%. That was Nick's tape. 2.1, 4.1, and 2.6. The odds of all 4 games going the Pacers' way is a 1 in a 1 in a million, no, 1 in 1.5 million chance. So the Pacers are literally on a 1 in a million Aaliyah type run. This is who the Pacers are. Oh, this photo cold too. There's going to be some shots. That black and white one is tough. This one's really tough because of the spotlight. That's tough. That's a nice shot. A little bit too much of the basket in a way, but still cold. So again, you talk about adjustments. What adjustments was made? Look at who's on the floor here. I mentioned it briefly a minute ago, but let's just take a look at who was on the floor. OKC is up 3 with coming up on a minute left in the game, and there's not a big in sight. Positionless basketball, not a big in sight. We have Nembhard, Haliburton, Neesmith, Siakam, and Obi Toppin. So what happens here is there's no rim protector. There's no Thomas Bryant. There's no Miles Turner. Tony Bradley still hurt, I believe. I'm going right at the cup. SGA gets the screen with J-Dub. No switch. Haliburton kind of gets lost here, not sure what to do because he definitely didn't blitz and he didn't hedge either. Drop coverage, essentially, but it's not the most cleanest drop coverage because he leaves Kaysan open. But SGA, again, Caruso makes a move here. If Caruso dives here, let's see, do I have that ability here tonight? Can I do the draw? Nope, that's the screening. Nope. All right, normally I had a little screen thing where I could write across. The drive inside. He gets that, right? Siakam is able to stay home. Now, normally if there's a big on the floor, if this is Chet instead of Alex Caruso, that's an easy alley. That's an easy alley. And let me come on the screen so y'all can see what I'm talking about. This is an easy alley. So you see SGA driving here. What you see right here, if you're watching along on YouTube, there's a space here, and in this space is Alex Caruso. But the reason why you're not going to see a lob, which is an easy automatic play, is because it's Alex Caruso and not Chet Holmgren. Because it's not Isaiah Hartenstein. Because the bigs got played off the floor. Instead, SGA has to take another shot, 1 of 30, and Siakam is able to meet him at the rim and get the block. And there's Alex Caruso for you to see. So normally, this is an easy lob. High screen and roll. You get the switch, although it's not really a switch because Haliburton does drop coverage but doesn't really commit either way. So now Nembhard is trailing the play. He's out of position, so SGA can clear him out, which he does. Siakam now has to step up. Now, again, you see Obi. Obi is going to commit as if he's expecting SGA to throw the lob. But then you realize it's Alex Caruso. But that also means you're leaving Lou Dort open for a 3. So this is actually smart defense by Obi. Let me come off the wide so y'all can see all of what I'm talking about. All right, so this is actually really good defense by Obi Toppin here. Again, a tale of two halves for Obi Toppin. So Toppin is here, right? Boom. Obi Toppin's here. Obi is going to have to make his mind up. Am I going to have to trail and pick up Caruso, or do I follow Lou Dort and close out? SGA is over here. Haliburton is doing hedge and drop coverage all at the same damn time, which means he's not doing no coverage. He's kind of in no man's land. He shows, which is fine. You can show, but then you got to get back. He shows and then doesn't really get back. Now SGA is able to clear out, and now Siakam now has to step up and guard and stop the ball. But that means if this was Chet Holmgren, he's diving to the rim to get that alley. Because look at all this space here. All this space is here for a big. But Obi, sensing that, picks up Caruso, or at least drops down so that it's not an easy drop off or whatever for Caruso to get a layup. But what that does mean is that now Lou Dort can float and get to all this open space over here, and he's already hit 5 threes in the game. So Obi goes and gets Caruso, which allows Siakam to go straight at SGA, get the block, and Lou Dort is just chilling out here waiting for the rock. Doesn't even move. It's the little things like that that put you in a position to hoist up the Larry OB. Again, I'm not saying the Pacers are going to take this series, but I do think they did a lot of things well, especially in that second half. And salute to Rick Carlisle for not being afraid to get the bigs off the floor. And then that forced the Thunder to adjust. It's all about chess, right? We're doing chess, not checkers, right? You make the team bend to your whim. The Pacers made the adjustment. We're going small. Miles Turner, although he has the size and strength advantage, don't know what to do with Chet. Okay, get him off the floor. Hartenstein, good first half. Chet Holmgren, shaky game. The bigs did not matter tonight. This was all about your wings and your point guards. And as is the theme for every other series, the Pacers have the best point guard on the floor. Steph in the chat, should this Pacers team be considered a Cinderella team? If they have the best point guard in the game, which I believe they do in Tyrese Haliburton. Well, here's the real conversation. Is it a Cinderella team if you have a top 15, top 10 player in the league? If a top 10, top 15 player carries his team to the NBA Finals, is that a Cinderella team? Because right now, I mean, we could have the conversation, and we're not doing no damn legacy awards and no lifetime achievement awards. Right now, is Tyrese Haliburton not top 10? And even if you think that's too far, you can't name 15 better basketball players than him right now. So if he's top 15 and he's able to lead his team to the NBA Finals, I don't think that's a Cinderella thing. I do not. I do not. If Haliburton is top 10 in the league, it can't be a Cinderella story. If I'm the East, the Knicks specifically, I'm depressed. The Pacers team made no changes to the roster, and they are all fairly young. They're going to be a problem for the next few years. Well, they have a big thing to figure out with Miles Turner. Now, they won without Miles Turner tonight, so maybe this is a precursor to the next couple of years that they don't need no big. They can go with 2 point guards and 3 small forwards and walk into OKC and get a dub. But I think ultimately there's going to be changes to this roster next year just from the Miles Turner thing alone. But yes, the long-standing point is if Tyrese Haliburton is now a top 10 player and now a team in Indiana has a top 10 player and they locked him up already, so he's for the cheap. I think he's only making, he's 20th in salary right now. And this is the first year of his max bag. So roster construction, we talk about what Sam Presti's been able to do to get OKC in this position. But, I mean, Indiana having their star player who's now ascending to top 10 territory locked up for the near future. Now you can build in. You can, if Siakam gets older, you can move on and have enough cap space to figure that out. If, Naismith takes another step, and becomes a guy that you really could depend on, now you got the flexibility to go to give him the re-up. The Pacers are in a position again. And I've been, talking about this when it comes to the Knicks and stuff like that. And I appreciate those hitting the like button. Let's go ahead and hit that like button and get those likes up. The Knicks lost to the Pacers in the second round last year in 7 games. The Pacers made little to no adjustments. The Knicks went out there and gutted their core and brought in Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns. And then they faced that same squad that they lost to in 7 and then got beat in 6. Make it make sense. What a game 1. It's great. All right, let's see. We got some clutch stats. Shooting clutch win probability added in a single postseason. As you see here, LeBron's at the top. Well, I told you about Big Shot Bob. Robert Horry is there. AD is there for all the people that clamor about what AD isn't. There's 2020 bubble AD. Rashard Lewis makes an appearance. Robert Horry again. KD, Bron, Dirk, Reggie Miller. We even got some John Stockton here. Jamal Murray. Yeah, people, and this is from just last year, by the way. I keep being told Jamal Murray is not one of them, yet every time I look at a graph that shows prowess in the playoffs and clutch ability, I see Jamal Murray's name. The math ain't mathin', either from what y'all are telling me or, yeah. And there's Nikola Jokic. DeAndre Ayton's on this list, so maybe you think the list is a little funky because of his submission here, or even Michael Finley to a lesser degree, but you get the point. Shooting clutch, not just clutch player, winning player, shooting clutch. Pulling up, taking a shot, making a shot with a lot of pressure on it. You see the names on this list. There's some big names on this list. There's some role players on this list. There's some forgotten guys on this list. Rashard Lewis is a forgotten guy. Rashard Lewis was one of those. If you know, you know. But Jamal Murray always finds his way. And there's Jesus Shuttlesworth, top 5 shooting guard of all time. All right, let's see what else we got. What else we got? Pacers were down by 14 early in the fourth and by 5 with 90 seconds to go, but that's an eternity with Tyrese Haliburton. There's the new king of the playoff game winner. I mean, I don't know about all of that. That seems to be a stretch. I just want the props to be given in regards to just him being a point guard. This league is bereft of point guards and actual true point guards to what the position is supposed to be played like. And you can give me all the undersized guards and all the combo guards and hybrid guards, but there's nothing more impactful than a selfless player who can get others involved and then go get his own at any point in time. That's the most dangerous player. And to be quite honest, it can be done from many different positions. That's what makes Jokic so good. Jokic can go out there and at any point in time, go get a 30, 40, or 50 ball. And then he could go out there and get you 12, 14, 16, or 20 assists. If we look at the leaders in assist, right? How many of these are actual point guards? And like actual point guards in terms of not chasing cheap assists and stat padding like Russell used to do in OKC, like actually affecting the game. Trae Young led the league in assists with 11.6. We round up on this channel. That's 12 assists, right? I think these are fraudulent. I think these are empty stats, right, for Trae Young. If you watch the Hawk games, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't watch Hawk games and you just watch the stat lines and you say, well, he's a point guard. He averaged 11, 12 assists a game. You're not watching the games. He's cherry picking. Now, Nikola Jokic, these 10 dimes to go along with these 13 boards and these 30 points, yeah, that is a guy that you can consider to be a point guard, point center, whatever you want to call it. Tyrese Haliburton right there, 9 dimes a game. Cade Cunningham right there, 9 dimes a game. Even the beard at this advanced age, 8.7, we round up. That's 9 dimes a game. And then you have that gray area. Jalen Brunson's here with 7. When's the last time you've seen Jalen Brunson control the ball from a facilitating POV? Damian Lillard is here with 7 assists. I will ask the same question. When is the last time you have seen Dame Dollar dominate from a facilitating POV? I remember arguing with people that D Book was more of a point guard than people think he is, and here he is as a 2 guard averaging 7 dimes a game. Again, it's about how you play and your tempo in getting the rock. Jalen Brunson is averaging 26 points and those 7 assists, and he's taking 19 shots a game. Tyrese Haliburton takes 14 shots a game. There's a difference when it comes to being a real point guard. Tyrese Haliburton is the only real point guard in the league. If you want to go to the point fraud because he's old, so he can't score like he used to, so all he can do is dish it, I'm willing to accept it. But tell me the next time we're scrolling down this list, name me the point guard. Darius Garland. Darius Garland likes his shot. He's taking 16 shots a game. When Giannis is averaging the same amount of assists of Dame Lillard, then we know Dame Lillard is not a point guard, right? De'Aaron Fox in split duty between Sacramento and the Spurs, 6 assists a game. And he's passing to Wemby, and he can only get 6 assists a game. That tells you that man is not a point guard. When you have Wemby and you can only get 6 dimes a game. And funny enough, wouldn't you know it, there's Jamal Murray again. Again, I had people who tell me Steph Curry is a point guard, but Jamal Murray isn't. But yet and still, Jamal Murray and Steph Curry averaged the same amount of assists this year. Some of y'all just don't know ball. Steph Curry's a point guard. He averaged 6 assists and takes how many shots a game? He takes 11 threes a game, 18 shots a game overall. But that's considered a point guard. Jamal Murray takes 17 shots a game, takes only 6 threes, averages 6 assists, is not considered a point guard. How, Sway? And again, there's Draymond right there averaging the same amount of assists. But Steph's a point guard. All right, I don't want to fall down that rabbit hole. I guarantee you I will be doing a full-length video on what a point guard actually is. I have that as on my whiteboard of topics. Trust me, it's coming. I still have the Heat Culture is a myth video coming. Trust me. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Lock in. It's going to be a long summer, and we're going to tear down some narratives this upcoming summer. Steph in the chat. Both teams should just thank Paul George for them being here in the finals. I mean, this is the Paul George finals. You know, Paul George has played with so many teams now. We might be able to do this with a lot more teams. If the Clips make it, we might be able to do it. Like it's a few teams now where Paul George just keeps touching. If we ever get a Philly Clippers, I mean, no, we'll never get a Philly Clippers finals. Let's just not. Yeah, I won't even entertain the thought of a Philly Clippers NBA finals. It'll never happen. This game, early in this game, I thought it was a wrap. I was texting with some of the homies, Steph included, and we were just trying to figure out how can the Pacers even push this to 5? How can the Pacers push this to 6? It'll be a miracle they could push this to 6. And then they walk out there in the second half. They go small, get the bigs from OKC off the floor, and they chip away, close the gap. 15-point lead becomes a 9-point lead, becomes a 5-point lead. And now OKC gets tight. Now every possession matters. Again, just like the Pacers like to get up and down, and we saw that against the Knicks of they were at their best when they were in transition. OKC was even better in pace than the Pacers. And they like to get up and down, but that second half, specifically that third quarter leading into the fourth quarter, possessions got tight. Possessions became more valuable. And when you don't have a point guard that knows when to push the issue and knows when to fall back, Shai knows how to do that for himself. Let's be clear. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander knows when to be aggressive and knows when to fall back in terms of his own offensive aggressiveness. But when it comes to, do I need to get J-Dub a touch here? Do I need to get Kason Wallace a touch here? Can I dump it off to Caruso and let him do something? That's the stuff you have to navigate when you are a point guard. Because you could see it with Hallie. There was definitely times where Hallie could have had shots, but he pulled back and swung it to Naismith. There were times where he had the rock and he was trying to make things happen, but then he decided to swing it to Nembhard. There's a difference in knowing when to take your shot and just when knowing how to get a good shot. Because the two things aren't synonymous. Just because you can get a shot doesn't mean that it's a good shot. You just know you could get your shot. Like Haliburton knows when I go out there, I can go get my shot damn near anywhere on the court. But is that the best shot? SGA, I think he thinks, yes, I can get to any spot I want on the court, and that's always the best shot. And let's be clear, that ultimately still may win the NBA championship. But for one night, facilitating basketball reigns supreme. The win probability, bruh. Let's see. When they were down, was 94.6 the lowest it got? Yeah, 94%. Look at that win probability. 91.2% win probability with 25 seconds left, with OKC only up 1. If you put some bread on here, you went Pacers money line plus 400. That's really fucking nice. That's crazy value. And of course, they cover the spread and the under hit, 230.5. The under hit. All right. What else y'all got for me? What else y'all got for me before we wrap this up? Let me see if we can find what we're going to do here. We go right to sports again, see if we have anything. Okay, more stats. The Indiana Pacers are the first team to win an NBA Finals game with 0 20-point scores since the 2013 Heat. The numbers just keep being more and more amazing. So we talked about each series where the Pacers have come back from big time leads, from big time deficits, excuse me. They come back from the Cavs. They come back from the Bucks. They come back from OKC, and they come back from the Knicks. And Haliburton played a part when all of those. Each series, he's had a moment. Each series, he's had a walk-off or a game-tying or a go-ahead shot. Oh, here comes some of the post-game stuff. Pascal Siakam won the Game 1 win. We didn't even play well. Oh, that's big shit talking. Big shit talking from Pascal Siakam. Hey, if they're able to get this ring off, do we need to have a conversation about Pascal Siakam? Is that man going to be in Springfield? Is that man going to be in Springfield, Mass? He gets 2 chips. He's been a conference finals MVP. He's been a contributor, a number 2 option on two different NBA champions. If Siakam pulls this off, this right here speaks volumes. Sacramento drafted Haliburton late in the lottery because, again, the Knicks passed on him at the 8th pick because the Knicks are in bed with Jalen Brunson via his dad, Rick Brunson. Rick Brunson is now being under attack from multiple players who feel like Rick Brunson be meddling. No shit, Sherlock. His son is now the face of the team. Haliburton loved the city and the team. Well, that goes to the 3-packs that he's always rolling with. He loves a 3-pack of threes. They shipped him off and he was heartbroken. Now they have to watch this run. Not only do Sacramento have to watch this run, but the Knicks have to watch that run. And now for 2 straight years, Haliburton has eliminated the Knicks. And the Knicks could have drafted him. Never forget. Hashtag never forget. I will never let the Knicks forget that they could have drafted Tyrese Haliburton and didn't because Rick Brunson was on the coaching staff and was whispering sweet nothings into the meniscus-tearing Taskmaster's ear about his son. Papa Haliburton in the house, getting some love. Easy work, easy work, easy work. All right, we'll probably wrap it up there. If you have not hit the like button, go ahead and do that. Your boy would appreciate it. The plan is to do post-game reactions for every single NBA Finals game. So if you want to tap in, if you like this type of content, again, this was just a little sliver of what I would like to do. I want to do more deep dives, pull up post-game sound, all that type of stuff, but that stuff's not available in the Elon app at this moment. But hopefully as the series goes along, the deeper this goes, they'll have that type of stuff available. We'll be able to dissect post-game comments and stuff like that. So if you enjoyed what you've been watching, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that like button. I go by the name of D Sam D. I'm a 15-plus year sports media veteran. I say all the things that your favorites can't and won't say. So if you want to like that type of content, come on and tap on in. We have a lot of people. You see Steph holding it down here in the chat. We got a bunch of people on the stream. I'm getting feedback via text. People are digging the content, so let's go ahead and just tap in. Go ahead and tap in, hit that like button, and I will be here after game 2 because this is how we do it. So appreciate y'all for pulling up. Appreciate y'all for tapping in and being active in viewing, being active in the chat. I will catch y'all after game 2. I'm D Sam D. I'm out.